Shabbat Shalom, y'all. I hope you are doing well. It is Friday evening when I am recording this video. We're here for our weekend message using the Radiant Sun Oracle and the Dreaming Way Tarot, I believe. And so usually Fridays tend to be a more pensive message. They take us into reflection through the weekend, looking back through the work that we've been doing through the week and like kind of letting it sit and ruminate and embody and take root. So from Radiant Sun Oracle, we've got the moon in Virgo, which is no surprise since we just had our full moon in Virgo. So that's order. Followed by excitement, which is Mercury in Gemini, its home sign. Followed by Mars in Capricorn, which I want to say Mars might be exalted in Capricorn. I might be wrong about that. And finishing with the moon in Aries. Going deeper into the order card, we've got the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Elaborating on excitement, we've got strength. Giving us a little bit more insight in authority, we've got Four of Cups reversed. And underneath protection, we've got Seven of Swords reversed. So very interesting. A lot of reversed cards this week, but these are the reversed cards that are actually, a couple of them are actually better in the reverse position than they are in the upright position. Whew. If there's any other like channeling people, medium types out there, when you guys are like, the spirit's coming through you, do y'all have belches? Like I do. I've heard other people say that too, but it's always so belchy and gross and whatever, casual, comfortable. Okay. So overall, I feel like this message is asking us to just kind of gather our wherewithal and our strength and our focus and our determination and like get our butt in gear, get a fire under our ass. Order with the Knight of Pentacles reversed. So this card talks about like getting organized and intentional and having patience, using tact and precision, and being, intentional with what you're doing. So this also can talk about someone who, like, emotionally, with the moon in Virgo, like, they need things to be a little bit organized. Like, literally, it's funny, me and my friend who has a moon in Virgo were literally just laughing at this hot video of this guy cleaning his house. And she was like, come here to me. And I'm like, it's your moon in Virgo. But, like, disorderliness in your atmosphere causes you to have anxiety. And it keeps you from being organized in your ability to think and do and be productive. And it leaves you emotionally unsettled. And so your emotions, you kind of like to also, in that sense, be very categorical and organized and specific. You don't like it when things are not this way or that. You like things to be clean and straightforward and organized, right? So in a way, it's like we don't need our perfectionism to be holding us back emotionally or keeping us from taking the first steps toward our goal. Also, to help you and your nervous system and your emotions to regulate those and be grounded, to give yourself the best foot forward, is like maybe you do need to get organized. Maybe you need to make some lists and get the overwhelm out of you, right? Maybe you need to do a deep clean of your house or get things decluttered and organized literally. And while you're doing that, it helps your subconscious come up, and show you things. It gives you ideas. It clears the energy. It moves the energy around. But it'll settle your emotions. But I feel like lately we've been, and I think part of this is the timing is perfect because we've been picking up on like, oh, a new teacher, a new mentor, and I've been looking for that, but I didn't know what category it would be in, and wasn't necessarily looking actively. I was just like open to suddenly, coming upon maybe some new teachings. And so I've been talking about this woman recently who's been an incredible help to me in putting together like the pieces that connect the patterns with the wounds, with the behavior, with like the what is going on and how can I start actually addressing this. And so as it turns out, most of our problems are due to dysregulated nervous systems that are stemmed from childhood post-traumatic stress syndrome. We've been talking about child wounds and things like that. And I think that we tend to get really, like, our perceptions get, like, fixated on emotional healing. But what's really kind of holding us back, it's like, oh, I don't feel like I'm emotionally triggered about this anymore, right? Like, maybe some things just don't bother you and you feel healed, but like they're still playing out, and you've even changed your perspective and your perception, and you've changed, your spiritual, like, approach around it, and you're like, what is left? What am I not doing? And it could very well be that it is still living in your nervous system. And that's one way that we talk about something being in your unconscious or in your subconscious. And so you might be thrown into trauma responses in life when you get overwhelmed, or when you get, when the stress triggers come up that remind you of those things in your subconscious. And so a lot of our day-to-day routines might be frequently interrupted and blocked with just low-level traumatic, post-traumatic stress syndrome playing out in these trauma responses that are just easily triggered, right? And they become habits, and they become like learned patterns and default settings in your, subconscious. It's like your hard drive. That's your operating system, essentially. So the more that we become aware of this, it's like, oh, okay, you can pause yourself and like interrupt that pattern when it's happening, when you see it happening, and start to reprogram yourself and build new patterns. While at the same time, it's like, now that we can pinpoint those things, we can then go into an impressionable state, get our subconscious into an impressionable state, and then rewrite that from like almost like a hypnotic state. And you can find like meditations, probably on YouTube for free, with binaural beats that can get you in an alpha state. I would try to elevate your heels, like lay back and elevate your heels with something so that they're levitated and that there's nothing underneath the heel, because it mimics a baby in the womb, I think. But it helps you get into parasympathetic state when your knees are bent and there's nothing under your heel. So like put pillows right here, just let your feet dangle. So get yourself into that parasympathetic state. Put the headphones in. The headphones in your ears gets you there in that like all-encompassed, bubble. And see if you can go back and just like relax and let yourself and let your subconscious present, maybe some things that have been coming up. But the way to do that, the easiest way to do that, is to be magnetic. They have like what's called deep imaginings that are designed specifically to unblock certain things, specific things, all through the major categories of our lives. They have different DIs with different like goals, but they're all guided meditations that get you into a parasympathetic hypnotic state where you can rewrite your nervous system and heal your nervous system, but also go and do like the healing work that you need to do on things that you didn't realize were there. And it also helps you find those things that you didn't know were there because your subconscious is relaxed. So it brings things into your awareness through these guided meditations. But they have specifically designed binaural beats that are like designed by scientists to trigger those brainwaves. So anyway, my link below is an affiliate link that will give you 15% off of your monthly membership if you want to join them, if you want to join their path. Otherwise, you can buy individual workshops, but like for what I pay a month, I've never regretted this purchase. Their full membership is $30 a month, or you can use the 15% off discount, and then you do have to like commit to like the year. You can't like cancel anytime. Having said that, it's just a very good tool, very good system to use. That's in alignment with like the work that we do here. So, okay, so order. It's like we need to get our emotions sort of like mastered and calm and grounded right now. But at the same time that we are learning how to practice self-control and restriction without suppressing our emotions, we want to be able to have our feelings and be able to feel them without being overwhelmed by them, without suppressing them, without running from them, without panicking. We want to be able to feel them and observe them and acknowledge them without them necessarily controlling the way that we react, behave, or choose. We want to be able to pull in our wisdom and our discernment and prayer and not just go on our feelings alone, right? Because our feelings can be like, you know, they can be a little diluted at times if they're coming from a heart that isn't that's in pain at the moment, or that feels like needy or something. Like the heart, it takes our constant upkeep to keep it pure and undefiled by the ego, right? There's lots of pain coming in all the time, and disappointment and anger, so it takes constant effort. It's the constant gardener, so to speak, right? The tiller of the heart. So, we need to keep it clean. We need to keep it healthy and open. And we don't want to shut our feelings down, but we just don't want them to control us. And so but we do need to renew and amplify our active desire and our sense of enthusiasm and our passion, our excitement, because this is the thing that is the fuel for our manifestation. This is the thing that generates like magnetism. And so we have this paired with the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Now, the Knight of Pentacles upright is slow and steady, consistent, responsible, maybe a little bit slower than you'd like, but they are dependable. The Knight of Pentacles reversed is maybe feeling a little bit like you're unmotivated, you're tired, you're irresponsible, you're getting hasty, you're making sloppy mistakes out of like a sense of anxiety or timidity. So this can describe a dysregulated nervous system that gets in a hurry, that makes mistakes, that gets nervous or timid, and then starts to have trauma responses, and then gets sloppy. It then gets kind of depressed and frozen and underperforms. So you can re-regulate it through breathing exercises, through meditations and things like that, and then trying to get your subconscious in an impressionable state to rewrite it, because that is a very powerful, overwhelming thing to your conscious willpower. But beyond that, it kind of takes discipline, devotion, and practice to be mindful and self-aware and conscious, to disrupt your patterns when you can pause. Why is this in my movie? Like the Kabbalah, it's like it goes hand in hand. It's a perfect pairing, right? Why is this in my movie? Okay, now start to regulate your nervous system. Box breathing, 4 seconds in, down into your diaphragm, hold 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, and then you try to release more breath than you took in, and you do that kind of, intentional breathing. You can, stomp your feet and say right, left, right, left. It's like you can do things that coordinate your mind and your motor skills. If you can go out and take a walk in nature, get some fresh air, go for a run, do something that grounds you but gets your energy moving and gets you out of like a frozen state of like analysis paralysis or procrastination. So the Knight of Pentacles can be unmotivated on their own and need a lot of encouragement. They may need a lot of emotional support, and they may need like a loving environment to be fully fruitful and productive. Like that might be where they, you know, excel and exceed. They need to feel secure. So I feel that it's like this is urging us to, like, we can make change, but it's going to be up to us to like take initiative and make the changes that we need to make. And we need to take like responsible action. When we get those downloads from spirit and we feel that we've gotten like some divine guidance on an issue, or when we have gotten clarity about the next steps forward in our plans to see our, you know, desires through to fruition, our manifestations to make those happen, it's like we need to take mindful and intentional action thereafter, and responsible action. Don't get hasty. Don't be doing it out of a sense of reactivity, like, oh, I gotta do this before, so, you know, it's just like, no, don't be reactive. Make sure that you're being intentional and like paying attention to the things that you're going to be doing. Now, this also tells me to be consistent and mindful of the details. A very easy example of this is the other night, me and my niece-in-law were talking about like something that she'd learned about like Instagram. Somebody had been talking to the people, you know, at headquarters, and she was just giving some tips. And one of them was that it matters. Your consistency matters, but it's not just a daily consistency. It's like on certain posts, not the stories. They can be anytime, it's in the moment. But like your posts, like your posts and your reels and things, like it will be more helpful to you to optimize the algorithm if you do it at the same exact time every day. Which is interesting because I used to do mine at 11 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday without fail. And then I took a job on a long-term television show, and I was there for like at the studio for, you know, 13, 14 hours a day, plus driving, plus everything else, just brushing your teeth. You know, it's just like, I didn't have time to do the post anymore. It fell off, and I lost all my momentum and all the growth that I had started to get, and which is devastating because I never got it back. This is years ago. But also since then, like I've had more, like I haven't been as disciplined about the exact time of my posts, and it reminded me, okay, I've got to really like pay attention and be consistent and specific about my execution, right? Look at your plans, reevaluate them, and see if there's anything that needs editing or changing, and don't be too prideful to make those changes. Excitement, Mercury in Gemini. Excitement is all about like getting excited about going deeper into adventure and discovery. But also this card talks a lot about like going deeper into a study or like learning something new, but like not necessarily taking like a rigid approach, but more of an organic approach where like your instincts will like guide you to like, okay, maybe look up this. Okay, now maybe look up this. Oh my gosh, as it happens, those are related. So it's like an instinctual like kind of hunch to like explore and do research and learning about a new topic, or learning more in depth about the topic you're in. You know, this is like preparing yourself for like things to come. Prepare yourself for the opportunities that might present in career, purpose, love, money, all of those things. This card is also talking about the efficiency and effectiveness of communication, of clear communication. This can be success in writing and in being like a public figure or speaker. But this is someone who's great at writing and talking, and, you know, being very charismatic at that. And so it's hinting at like a successful career in doing those things. It's like strength is saying be strong. Don't be impetuous and be impatient and give up and throw in the towel. like the key now is to tap into your deep inner strength. And this kind of strength card is like the strength that is that inner strength. It's not forceful, it's not pushing, it's a gentle assertion and determination. It's patience, it's compassionate strength, it's gentle strength, it's loving strength. It's like endurance, it's understanding, but it's like you can go the distance. And I feel like this is being strong enough to like express yourself and be authentic in that, and be hold your head high and don't be afraid, don't be timid, go for it. And you also, that it's going to take like consistency and endurance and perseverance. And so it's going to take long-term diligent action that are like structures and routines, not just like forceful, like cramming it, like cramming or like doing all the work at once. But yeah, so just having the discipline now to like hone in, do what needs to be done. There's a lot of potential. It might be good to, consider what needs communicating, or are you holding back? Are you being inauthentic? Are you hiding something? Are you not communicating something? Are you not expressing yourself in some way? Are you kind of holding that back? But you can express yourself in an assertive way without being aggressive. Okay. All right. Now the authority card, taking authority, taking action, not being too rigid and, too aggressive or riding roughshod over others. But there's definitely like you need to take authority over your life and get some direction and like execute that direction. And the Four of Cups is like saying like, hey, chin up, things are actually a lot better than they seem. Even though it seems like this is a period of inactivity and it might feel like nothing's going on, there actually is a lot going on beneath the surface that you just don't know yet. And so we've been talking this week about being in creation phase 3, or the magic dark, as to be magnetic work talks about. And so in Kabbalah, creation phase 3 is when you have, so creation phase 1 is a passive desire. It's like getting an idea and being kind of inspired by it, but you don't really do anything about it yet. And then creation phase 2 is when that idea takes root and you're like, you know what? There's some value here. I am going to actually follow through on this idea. And you're super passionate, you're super excited, and it's the honeymoon stage with it, and you're just like putting in all the effort, you're putting your best foot forward, you're like burning the midnight oil and burning the wick at both ends and doing all those things that, suggest that you're really like making all the effort. Imagine like those movies where it's like got the character in their montage and there's like a motivating song playing. It's like a montage of them like doing better and growing, and like they're like really trying and like cleaning up their act and like, studying and like working out and all those things. That is creation phase 2. Creation phase 3 is like the underdog goes for the big, thing, and they put it out on the line and they face the fear, or like you stand up to the bully, or you tell the truth, or you confess your undying love, or like you put it on the line, you bet against all odds, and you've already you've made the self-sacrifice, you gave the big ask, you faced the fear, you overcame like an insecurity, or like you forgave, or there's something that you had to give and it was hard to give, it was a sacrifice. And so this is the moment where you're like, this is it must be it, right? This is like the end of act 2 in the movie, and you're like, come on, the happy ending's here, right? And then it's just like, nothing's happening. There's just crickets. And it feels like, is anything ever gonna happen again? Like, what, did I just dry up all my potential and opportunity? And it's like, you've been being tested and tested and tested, and you've been passing these tests, you've been unblocking yourself, and you've been really trying, and it just looks like that, like there's just never gonna be, like, what if it just never pays off? What if nothing ever comes of it? And the real test here, the universe is asking you a couple of things. It's testing to see if, first of all, if this thing never did pay off, is it still something that is so alive in your calling and your soul that you're gonna just do it anyway? You can't not do it. You just have to. It's just within you. You just feel compelled to do it. And either way, come hell or high water, if it gets successful or not, whatever, it's just like, I can't not do it. You can't give it up. There's that. so that tells you like it's a soul calling. It's not just some whim. It's not like just some ego thing that you think seems cool that, you know, other people will like you for, will give you status, or like your parents will finally approve. Like, it's not one of those things. It's like something that's been seated within you. And when you have those kind of desires, soul-led desires, that's because the Creator has something already set aside and set in store for you. And that's what God has intended for you. But it's just that you can't have that thing without meriting that, without earning your way there. Because if you get there without doing anything to earn it, you won't value it. You won't have the experience. You won't have the wisdom. You won't have the capacity or the strength to have the fulfillment of that manifestation and be able to sustain it. You might get the manifestation, but it won't have deep fulfillment because you won't have deep appreciation because you didn't invest in it. And, you know, it's when we really put our blood, sweat, and tears in things that it means so much. And, you know, you value it and you take care of it and you know how to take care of that thing. And you can sustain that. So it's like it's not only you get the thing, but it's fulfilling, and you have the value and the responsibility to be able to maintain and sustain it. And so we have things set aside so we don't get them too soon. You know, they're there when we have the best shot at, you know, taking a good go at it, right? You know, otherwise there are things that come in and out for seasons to prepare us for these ultimate big things. It's like in phases. But I feel like we're really headed towards a significant next level of things coming in, of life changes, because we have really grown and up-leveled to a next level in our soul, in our consciousness, in our hearts. And even though recently it seems like a lot of stuff's been purging out and you're like, where is this? I thought I was becoming a better person. Where is this coming from? And it's because it's like all that stuff that's like, you know, when you have to move the furniture to do the deep cleaning, or else it's hiding until you open the windows and spring air blows it out from under everything. That's what it's been like. And so all of this old stuff is being purged out so that you don't have to be carrying it with you into the next cycle, so that we can have the best shot at starting off with undefiled, clean slate to build something pristine with. And which will get a ding and a scuff and a stain, but that's okay. You know, we're starting off at a new level. So the Four of Cups reversed is like, hey, you know, you're doing better than you think. And actually there's a specific note about how it says that you might be ready for a new relationship. And so this tells me like we've been doing the work and we prepared ourselves well enough to be like deemed ready for the next opportunity to come along. So just keep your wits about you and keep doing your devotions. Keep up on your routines. Keep taking care of yourself and keep preparing yourself. And because once that thing comes in, you want that so ingrained in you that you don't lose all that when you get distracted with this new opportunity. You need to maintain these structures and habits and routines that you are building now, even if a new relationship comes in or a next level of a relationship goes, you know, forward, or a new job or a move or something like that. Whatever it is, you need to be able to maintain the stability and security, you know, emotionally, vibrationally, literally, that has got you to this point. So we've got the moon in Aries, which is protection, and Seven of Swords reversed. So this is again, like this is very emotionally impulsive. And this is an intense emotional response that you feel like you need to do something and show your emotion, and you need to show it intensely. But like rein it in and do the pause. What a pleasure. Why is this in my movie? Like restrict yourself from going into a reactive state in a default setting and observe. Take some breaths and try to regulate your emotions before you make a choice, before you make a decision, before you take an action. Okay? So that way you have a sovereign, like, sense of free will when you take that action, and you're making it by choice, not a state of reactivity. In order to have affinity with the light, so in order to connect with our blessings, we need to be in vibrational resonance with those blessings. And what I've discovered is that the life that God has in store for you is not some boring, rigid, stern life that's no fun. It's actually going to be your most fulfilling, most grand, amazing experience of it. But in order to resonate with that and align with that path, we have to be in vibrational resonance with it. And in order to do that, we need to build affinity with the light of the Creator. Well, one way to do that is to practice a state of cause consciousness versus effect consciousness. The Creator is the cause of all things. When you think about the abstract enormity of God, like we can't even begin, right? And so nothing that we do can really affect God. We are the effect of God. So nothing affects God. We are affected, and we are living in a realm where there are spiritual laws at play and energetic laws at play. So we play within the bounds and restrictions and the rules of those spiritual laws and those energetic laws. So we are the ones who are fluctuating and changing and affected, and God is in the cause and eternal and unwavering and unchanging. So the more we can, at an emotional level, and then like in a consciousness level and a vibrational level, maintain that unconditional level of certainty and peace and fulfillment and joy and love and unity, and be the cause, meaning we are unchanged by the circumstances, we're unaffected, we believe everything, things are unfolding. It can be used for our highest good. Challenges come. I'm not going to be, thrown off kilter. I'm not going to fall out of affinity with the light of the Creator. Nothing is worth my peace, right? Fear will not help me solve this problem. We don't have to look away. We can proactively face things. But, and sometimes fear is good. It's healthy. It shows us, what might be dangerous, or some direction that we don't need to go in, but that intuitive fear needs to be deciphered from our ego fear, and that takes a little bit of training and a little bit of healing and a little bit of strengthening our certainty, and just kind of being able to discern the difference between those feelings and those hunches and those sensations. So protecting our peace, protecting our inner sense of stability and consistency, not being affected by things. And that's a practice. So when you are affected, just try to get back to think about your vibrational thermostat that you want to set. How do you want to feel today? And you want to set that, and you want to believe and have faith and grow that faith and choose that faith and fake it till you make it. But it's a constant choosing over and over again. It's like in 1 second we can be in that union with divine and in that higher state of consciousness, and then 1 second we can fall from grace, be completely disconnected and cut off from our blessings. Open vessel receiving, closed vessel scared. So the miracle is that it's an instantaneous thing. It's just a shift in our consciousness. It's a shift in our vibration. It's a shift in our perception. But it takes our, participation and our devotion and our discipline to do that. And it takes our, constant connection with the light of Source, knowing that Source, God is our provider and our protector, and my algorithm, God is our matchmaker, God is our relationship counselor if we needed to be. It's not that we don't seek out, material solutions and support, but ultimately those are vessels sent through the Creator, like moving the pieces in this simulation, right? So that is one layer of this card. Another layer of this card is, don't hide your feelings or your true feelings. Don't disguise them. Like, for instance, if you're a single person, for example, and you meet someone that you like, an easy example to illustrate this card is to not hide your interest, but also don't be so impulsive to fall completely prey to your feelings and then give up your boundaries and be impulsive in your actions because of the feelings. So don't suppress your feelings, and you don't have to hide them, but you can set boundaries and standards and still show the interest is there. You don't need to be too aloof or too nonchalant. If something's not okay, you need to be upfront and authentic that something's not, you're not like, that's not my thing, or that I don't like that, um, not pretending like you're okay with it because it doesn't present the real you, right? So being true to yourself and being real and honest about and with your feelings, but also knowing when and how to express those properly and truthfully without being um, reactive and impulsive and overly emotionally reactive. So in a way, it's like being able to practice self-control at the same time being able to intentionally express how we feel honestly, when the moment comes, when it's appropriate to do so, or when we need to practice vulnerability and openness for the sake of like getting what we want. Like if you're looking for a romantic partnership, like another good example would be like if you're out at the grocery store, just make sure you're not walking around with resting bitch face, right? Be open and approachable and smile. And if you're not looking to connect with someone, then you can be politely like disinterested or like be honest about it. It's not an authentic match. So 7 of Swords reverse is like there's something, it's like there's some good advice that you might have missed or that you might have dismissed or that you're not taking it or you're not acting on that's actually maybe good advice to take. You might have dismissed it at first, but maybe it's there's food for thought there. 7 of Swords upright is about like someone with a manipulative agenda or like lying, cheating, and stealing. But 7 of Swords reversed is like, yeah, maybe there is something to this. Like maybe this person or this like resource that you found, like maybe you've got somebody who's got some insight into something that you wouldn't have thought. Or maybe like you had a previous limiting belief that you needed to hide how you felt. It wasn't safe to show your feelings in your career desires or in your desires at all, or maybe it wasn't safe to show your feelings in certain environments in your life or in certain circles. So maybe you have this defense mechanism now, but so maybe you've had like some insight or advice through like a teacher or a resource or a book or something that shows you how to do that, for instance. But yeah, someone may have good advice that maybe you didn't pay attention to at first, or maybe you were just like, yeah, I don't know. You second guessed, but maybe like put that advice in your pocket and maybe it helps you. Like maybe the advice helps you overcome a limiting belief, and maybe it helps you recognize a limiting belief that you didn't realize was a limiting belief, but maybe you thought it was just like good common sense, but maybe it's actually standing as a barrier. All right, you guys, I hope that this does you well. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow for our Saturday night secret sermon where we dive into the Gnostic Gospels for our secret teachings of Jesus. All right, ciao.